If you're afraid to take up space and show up at your fullest in your passions and purpose because you're worried of judgment from the people around you, it's because you're giving too much power to their opinion and not enough power to what's inside of you. Now, maybe this looks like a career transition, or maybe it's about following your wildest dreams and you're wanting to start a business or scale a business, start a charity, write a book, start a podcast or YouTube channel, just putting yourself out there in the world in a bigger way. And you're holding back because the people around you haven't been supportive. Now, this is happening because you are still operating from the old identity or your small self, instead of showing up fully from the future identity or your higher self. The version of you who's fully embodied, confidently living that life, has already had success, and therefore none of those fears are even relevant. One of my thrivers was in this exact place where she was wanting to start her own coaching business and start hosting events and retreats, but her family was incredibly unsupportive. And so anytime she felt inspired or a little bit more confident to show up in the world and put it out there, it was like she was knocked down by them, and this constant uphill battle to fight to show up in the world the way that she wanted. But once she joined Thrive and worked through my 3-step process to release and reprogram and step into her higher self, she had launched her coaching business within the next 3 months. She had started hosting events and women's circles and was bringing community together. And she was ultimately putting herself out there, speaking her truth, and attracting her dream community. She would never have been able to do those things if she hadn't started to tap into the version of her who already was, right? Because for so long she had been looping in the old reality and in the smaller self who was more of a people pleaser, who cared and relied on her family's support and validation. And she was stuck in this constant loop of trying, struggling, sabotaging, doubting, and then giving up. And it was when she shifted into the version of her who already had the successful business, was confidently coaching clients, was leading retreats on a grand scale, that her subconscious could see that reality, could normalize that reality, and could feel comfortable and safe in that reality. And therefore, she could tap into the energies of that version of her who wasn't waiting for approval or validation, wasn't needing and relying on the support from those around her. So now I ask you, how different would your life look right now if you were operating from your future self and the version of you who already has it and already is, instead of continuing to operate from a version of you who isn't supporting you and isn't living the life you dream of?